But I think the defense will have a difficult time, Rob, trying to fashion that into their theory of this case, because certainly had she been in fear of her life, as she's claiming, Eileen Wuornos is claiming, why would she then come home, and if we are to believe this particular witness, why would she not then come home and explain what happened in that fashion? Didn't seem that she did that.
Well, you have to understand the nature of their relationship. And you're obviously not dealing with two professors at Columbia University. You're dealing with someone who is on trial here who has severe problems. It seems like the witness also has some severe problems, and we don't really fully understand the nature of their relationship and what their conversations tended to be like. Yes, I agree with your point. In other words, if she was threatened, if she was in danger, she would come home and probably say, you know, this happened to me, you know, I was terrified, and whatnot. You certainly would expect that.
Yeah. Now, if she didn't do that, is there a way, I mean, how do you go about, as you mentioned, bringing out this fact that there is this interesting dynamic in their relationship and there might be these problems? As a defense attorney, how do you begin to bring that out when you begin to cross-examine this witness?
Well, anything that you want to bring out from this witness, you may very well be able to get, because she doesn't seem like she would really be able to defend herself all that well. What you can do is called an informational cross-examination, and what that is a series of statements or questions in which you just have the witness responding in a yes or no fashion, in which you can, you know, talk about the relationship, and, you know, she was dominant and she told you a lot, or she didn't tell you a lot. You can pretty much get whatever you want out of this witness that way.
You know, she's interesting, the fact that she's even on the stand, her relationship with the law enforcement in trying to get this prosecution together against Eileen Wuornos. They put her up in a cottage. They had her make phone calls to Wuornos and basically, or at least the defense would say, coerce her into telling her what had happened. She says, I will kill myself if you don't tell me what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. I think the defense has a pretty good argument that that was a bit of witness tampering, and also perhaps any confessions that came out of that type of thing could be coerced, or could be considered coerced.
I don't know if I would consider it coerced. I don't know if that's the word that I would use. I think that it's clear that she was tricked. It's clear that her lover was on Team America working with the government and set this whole thing up. The defense would argue then that the defendant actually made statements beyond what had taken place in an attempt to cause her not to kill herself, in an attempt to, you know, protect her. But at the same time, the way the government approaches cases like this is they sit back and they say, well, look, if we could have anybody in the world as a witness for us, you know, warts and all, who would we want? Well, we would want her lover, because she was there during all these events. And you know what? They have her. And that's why it's hard to defend, you know, in situations like this. And, you know, the defense attorneys are going to cross-examine this witness. At the same time, she doesn't seem to have the ability to spin intricate lies. And so that makes her a much more believable witness, you know, in front of a jury.
Yeah, but it's not terribly intricate, her lie, if it is a lie. But the thing is, wouldn't she be guilty of something as well? If she, I mean, she could be facing some problems of her own if she doesn't come in and tell prosecutors or tell the court what they want to hear, correct? So that could always be used against her.
If she did anything after the crime, or either before, during, or after the crime, to aid or abet the commission of the crime.
Let's say she just had the knowledge of it and didn't go to the authorities.
That's very difficult. It just, you know, mere knowledge without taking any type of step to assist the perpetrator of the crime is not in and of itself a crime. Yeah. But, you know, it's not beyond the pale of what prosecutors do to say, well, you knew about it and you actually helped her move to a different hotel, let's say, right, and that helped her get away in case the police were on her trail. And you knew that she had just told you that she had just, you know, shot a man several times. You knew she basically had committed a crime, and you suggested to her, I've heard it said, right, you've suggested to her that maybe we shouldn't be here anymore. And I've seen prosecutors go after witnesses and threaten and intimidate and harass them along those lines. It seems like we're in a different situation here because, you know, this young woman seemed to come forward under some pressure, but at the same time, she seemed to reach a decision in her mind that maybe this was not a woman, meaning the defendant, this was not a woman that I should spend any more time with.
I don't know if I agree with that, Rob. I think she may have even, I'm not convinced that she's not part and parcel with this whole thing, saying, you know, Eileen, you go out and do these things, you know, taking advantage of the fact that Eileen Wuornos perhaps was obsessively in love with her. You go out and do these things to help support us and do our thing, and we'll keep moving across the country. I'm not so sure she wasn't a part of it in that sense. But again, all these things will come to light as we continue to take a look at this trial over the next couple of days. Right now, though, we do need to take this break. But first, a little programming note. Tonight on Pros and Cons, is the electric chair a torture device? An Italian exhibit puts it in the same class as the body-piercing device, the Iron Maiden. But what do Americans have to say about it? We'll find out tonight. And also, is your partner cheating in cyberspace? It's happening more and more. Now you can bust them with the new website, infidelitybusters.com. For a $50 fee, they'll reel in your straying lover. Be sure to join Helen Lukatis tonight for these and lots more on Pros and Cons tonight at 6 p.m.